All right, welcome back to this explainer. Today we're unpacking something literally life-changing. The source material we're looking at calls it the holy grail of morning routines. Now look, we've all heard the same old exhausting advice, right? Wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, run a casual half marathon before breakfast. Yeah, no thanks. But what if there was a totally different, highly efficient approach, one that's actually backed by hard science? Today we're exploring a routine designed to act like a perfectly stacked set of dominoes. You just tip that very first one, and boom, it creates this incredible cascade of synergistic, scientifically proven benefits that just effortlessly carry you through the rest of the sequence.
So what if limitless potential only took, say, 15 minutes? I know, it sounds totally made up, right? Almost too good to be true. But that's the core promise of the research we're diving into today. Unlocking maximum energy, laser focus, and top-tier health in just about a quarter of an hour. Think of it like a daily cheat code for your life. It is built entirely for efficiency. And honestly, the absolute best part? You absolutely do not need to wake up at the crack of dawn. You just have to flawlessly execute a very specific sequence of actions. So let's look at that very first domino. Step 1. Wake up and move. If this fails, the whole thing falls apart. Okay, let's dive right into this. To guarantee you knock over that critical first domino, you have to follow 3 completely non-negotiable rules. Rule number 1, do not negotiate with terrorists. And in this scenario, the terrorist is, well, it's your own brain. The exact second your alarm goes off, your brain is going to start making all these cozy, warm excuses to stay in bed. Don't listen to a word of it. There's nothing to discuss. Rule number 2, the snooze button does not exist, period. The strategy here is to use an old-school, aggressively loud alarm clock that literally doesn't even have a snooze function. And rule number 3, get on the ground. The ultimate hack to enforce all of this, keep that alarm clock shoved deep underneath your bed. So when it inevitably goes off, you are literally forced to roll onto the floor and reach for it with your entire arm. By doing that, you've completely tricked yourself into finishing the absolute hardest part of your morning. And hey, since you're already down on the ground, the second domino triggers immediately. Just 4 minutes. That's all it takes. While you're down there on the floor, you launch straight into 4 minutes of high-intensity exercise. We're talking push-ups, bicycle crunches, planks. Honestly, the specific exercise doesn't even matter. The only trick is to keep moving intensely until you are wide awake. And the biological benefits of these 4 tiny minutes? They are absolutely staggering. To put it in perspective, according to Dr. Abonsky from the Mayo Clinic, this sudden burst of intense exercise dramatically spikes your peak VO2. That's the maximum amount of oxygen your heart can pump throughout your body. In the medical world, that's basically the gold standard for your cardiorespiratory fitness. By forcing your body to pump maximum oxygen first thing in the morning, you're directly hardwiring your daily routine into a healthier heart and a considerably longer life. But get this, the physical benefits, that's really only half the story. This intense movement also drastically ramps up your production of BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Basically, think of BDNF as miracle grow for your brain. Research published in the Journal of Physiology actually shows that just 4 minutes of serious effort can multiply your circulating BDNF by 4 to 5 times. You're essentially quintupling your brain power, promoting massive neuroplasticity and building this incredible early momentum literally before you've even left your bedroom. It's wild. Which brings us to sequence 2, shock and focus. Time to use that hot, sweaty momentum. So here is our third domino, and it only requires 30 seconds. You're going to march straight from your bedroom floor and step right into a freezing cold shower. Now, okay, wait, I know this sounds completely terrifying. And honestly, yes, it is exactly as unpleasant as it sounds for the first few days. But you only need half a minute of that freezing water to trigger a massive neurological overload. The cold receptors on your skin are going to send this enormous brigade of electrical impulses straight to your brain, causing a massive release of natural endorphins as a built-in protective mechanism. And the science backing this up is incredibly compelling. Check this out. A massive randomized control trial looking at over 3,000 participants proved that a daily cold shower of just 30 seconds makes you 29% less likely to call off work due to sickness. 29%! It supercharges your immune system, flushes out muscle inflammation from those push-ups you literally just did, and above all, it builds raw, undeniable self-discipline. Once those 30 seconds are up, you hop out of the shower and step immediately into the single most crucial part of your entire day. Domino number 4, the sacred 5 minutes. In these specific 5 minutes, you sit down and immediately tackle the absolute most difficult, most important task you have for the entire day. There is literally no better time to do it than right now. And the reason for that comes down to pure, beautiful neurochemistry. Just think about the chemical cocktail currently coursing through your brain. You've got adrenaline pumping from the floor workout. You've got natural endorphins surging from the freezing shower. You've got maximum BDNF making your brain incredibly plastic and ready to learn. And crucially, this is the big one, you have completely untouched dopamine because you haven't wasted a single drop of it mindlessly scrolling on your phone yet. When you aim this supercharged, highly optimized brain at your most important task for just 5 minutes, you'll find it incredibly easy to slip right into a flow state. You know, that effortless zone where you completely lose track of time and just do the absolute best work of your life. And let's be real, you're almost certainly going to find yourself working way past those initial 5 minutes.
Finally, we hit step 3, the optimize reset. After firing on all cylinders, we need to recharge. Now, this reset is broken down into 3 quick mini dominoes. First, you fuel the body. The goal here is zero prep, super healthy food. We're talking cucumbers, carrots, handfuls of peanuts. By dodging heavy carbs and highly processed foods, you completely bypass that dreaded mid-morning food coma. Now, if you do eat some carbs, you've got to fight the drowsiness by getting outside. You need the blue light from the sun to actively suppress your sleep-inducing melatonin. And that leads us perfectly into the second mini domino, fueling your mind with actual sunlight and fresh air. The science behind why stepping outside feels so instantly refreshing is actually called the biophilia hypothesis. Essentially, humans didn't evolve to thrive sitting inside stuffy, fluorescent-lit rooms all day. We evolved out in nature. Studies show that bathing your mind in green spaces for just 15 minutes a day dramatically spikes your cognitive function, boosts your mood, and significantly lowers your overall risk of depression. In fact, there are 2 scientific theories that perfectly explain nature's remarkable ability to fix us. The tension restoration theory suggests that modern life basically mentally fatigues us, right? It shreds our attention spans. And nature actually acts as a cure for this fatigue, restoring our capacity to focus. On the flip side, the stress reduction theory argues that just being out in nature physically activates your parasympathetic nervous system, naturally calming down your autonomic arousal and dropping your anxiety levels. So literally, just by taking your healthy breakfast out onto the patio, you are chemically healing your brain. And while you're sitting out there enjoying the fresh air, you trigger the final mini domino, your spirit. Just taking a second to savor that quiet moment and actively practice gratitude is, hands down, the quickest scientifically proven shortcut to happiness. And we're not just talking about pleasant thoughts here. Hard research shows that just 3 weeks of consistent gratitude practice creates long-term structural changes in the medial prefrontal cortex. That's the area of your brain running your emotional regulation. These changes are so profound you can literally see them light up on functional MRI scans. Which brings us to the overarching rule that glues this all together, the clean morning rule. So here's the absolute crucial point. To make this entire 15-minute limitless routine work, you have to maintain a clean morning. Compare this to what a typical morning looks like. Notice what is entirely 100% absent from this routine: your phone. You absolutely cannot waste your morning momentum on cheap dopamine hits from scrolling social media, playing mobile games, or binging Netflix. You have to aggressively protect your brain chemistry, making sure you're only consuming dopamine sources that actually align with your long-term goals, like crushing a workout, doing deep work, and getting out into nature. So that brings us to the ultimate question: will you protect your morning momentum? By mastering these roughly 15 minutes, you can get so unbelievably far ahead before the rest of the world even wakes up that you'll achieve more in one single day than most people do in an entire week. It is time to widen the gap. It's time to ditch the cheap distractions and step into your ultimate self. So, I leave you with this. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off deep under your bed, what are you going to do?